So na or the bomb back to one more abeko we chiaba be na wotwe na asentu ye and ye wo na densua aye human rights activists also e wo ha no say any oba be din komo but quickly yen share nsema I want Democrats and munafi start ending komo now. So on the front page of the Daily Graphic it says that standoff in Parliament. I don't pay me kind, but I'm sorry, repeat. Solution rests with Speaker after your marking assets. After now, Adriano Eba said we a political issue and it must be dealt politically. It does not rest in the hands of anybody but the Speaker. Even though in the Supreme Court, 12 o'clock, and the verdict, now they will bring finality to all these hula balloons and sema ekoso ewo mrashibidwen. Now, so Supreme Court to deliver judgment today at 12 o'clock yet Musa. And the NCCE boss or say vote for competence above other considerations. Now, I don't see that agenda for yet the whole enkomo. Then NDC John Jans Kujo cleared to contest Amenfi Central seats. Enra Ewo High Court, Secondary High Court, Edone and Sema, and also PM Mobile. So, on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, avoid hate speech ahead of December elections. NCC cautions Ghanaians. So, what happened to NCC? You were coming on there, you remember to a bar. What the mobile boss, and there you do public education, sensitization. Now you sit in the offices and you start issuing statements. What is wrong? What's going on? You're Ghana. And I'm sick as a mobile jet them call. Anyway. So McDan, touch not by McDan, is now talking. I am surprised my comments have been twisted. McDan, Obekaya, Nano, Okotra the comments be my Gabi de facto Prime Minister. Okay, can I do the chair no bruta and then they were about no. And Dr. Mustafa Hamid will say African must end dollar-based oil, crude oil pricing now. And also Nesema or the Ababetuja, I don't know. Now, also the middle page of the Ghanaian Times will say government to launch $227 million tree crop devastation projects to reshape agriculture. Diversification, yes, sorry. To reshape agriculture sector. And no Brian Champon and de Abba. Yabenya Dajena, Yedi Edoso Home Combo, Kakra, Ewahano Muse. Now, you share the Daily Guide. Daily Guide, also local government minister commissions Techiman Kransa Markets, Ehonomo, Ena Oyeni MP, Oye MP, Techiman South, Martina Jane Kosa, Ehonomo. Ena etuoto ya yeku nkofo be enso se eyi ewo Techima South abato no yes eti ehodomo ena assembly see here ena sitting on the minority side be bad omen after Marcus so aka na mamenka say me no ka say Supreme Court atenase omo aba nti ebe cross over asat when it is necessary na after yakwa nkomo nti mamenika nko na yes, that's it. And come on, Ivan. Maybe I'm going to yeah, my Mr. Through Honor. Yes, you back court. You back court. See, yes, start ye didn't come back a na fe. You be say kokro.
Then come
we there the very brief kakra.
Ma densua. Na me mona bass because baby Andrew asanka o fie nanka o hwen but Baby Adru no otenafie nyeye.
Yeah.
And the strong will not the energy at this age or pushes that the right thing should be done. No. I'm sure say a inspiration for a lot of people, including some of us. Say the age, you know, if she's still pushing her, or a young person out there, you need to do more. So my mama Basuna say we will continue to fight until say we win.
Okay.
Because we are never going to lose. With the Supreme Court we are Mecca say whatever be the outcome of the ruling today, no, inconsequential so far as resolving this whole impasse is concerned. Because already, some of us have already expressed concern about the intrusion of the judiciary into the eyes of the judiciary. Because the separation of powers, all these institutions certain room to operate under certain flexible environment. You will not have other institutions poking into your eyes. But unfortunately, the whole thing has turned a certain dramatic turn. So controversy in as for Bajebi. Judge, judge. But there are certain basic things as people we can look at and make critical analysis about it. For instance, so here the dealings and the behavior of this current Supreme Court now, it looks as if say abaya the terror arm of power. You to bully to get their way through. Because I heard the circumstances, how predictable the Supreme Court has become, and in the way a manner government business per se go through, they will do everything humanly possible to make sure that it goes through. And on I'm about the public confidence and trust in the institution. Low. And the public trust anywhere. And Ramo Ibrahim Foundation at the statistics Babonton as to how much Ghana for have trust in the institution. You talk about the autonomy of the court. If the court any autonomy, it means that somebody somewhere is pulling strings. Until we achieve justice, not justice the kind of verdict institutions and Ghanaians are passing. You should be very much concerned. You don't sit on the bench and say, "Me na me to me or my ruling and no achia na na ko heba bi asip so no obi wasem." Ono ankasa na ne ho na wasem because an institution order no have no respect. Amanfo mu no. And the last institution betime lusu okroma has to do with the judiciary. Come my culture say parliamentarians over the years who had the behavior and as for Ghana for taking it serious. The presidency I to Ponkoso and now people don't take them serious. The only avenue Ghana for our hope womb the judiciary, the highest pinnacle of judicial power. And menunya samayan chesekan yabeko and ya weaponizing the judiciary and trust and anything anyhow because some of the ruling are inconsistent. For instance, Supreme Court is telling us today, ruling in Yamabonte, but per the S-party application that was granted to OnuaMaakye and said, so we have Nipana or more MPs, so across the carpet now. We can't deny them representation in Parliament because people voted for them, they need representation. Now maybe say, court now, okay, says sha. Nipana more voter region, omuni MP na yen ratify the next 4 years, omonya MP no, omo de sabi omoya moa. They don't need representation in Parliament. You see the inconsistency. Yet Chrome has a MP ya to Obama no. Your friend say NDC MP ya Africa na by. Jacho question.
Yeah, Jacho question.
Nipo also ya to Obama no.
Yeah.
He was injuncted for the first time in the history of this country. Man, continue for 2 good years until say ya to Obama. So you see the level of inconsistency. Yeah. So this is the reason why Ghana for are raising.
But these are 2 different issues.
No.
The question the other has to do with citizenship.
No. Debbie, because
we know vacating of seat because we're across the carpet.
No, but there is a common element at that point. Now the ultimate issue has not been determined. What I say, so you don't inject because the principle they say the people need representation. That is the basic principle I can't myself. But that has been the soul of this argument. They need representation until the final matter is determined. You can't tell him to go home. That is what Supreme Court is telling us. But the case was not determined, but he was sacked to go and sit home.
Okay,
you understand?
So court to Supreme Court. I think that they are making a very important ruling or something. Or more making a statement. So you go Supreme Court to see now. You could say so we will come back and after
it leaves no room for any argument whatsoever, and the majority decision, very big majority, clear majority, 5-2. It's not as if it was a narrow majority, 3-4 or 4-3, that anyone can say, well, there is some room for kind of review or anything at all. But the point I'm making is that whenever the court speaks, it's such a clear and emphatic order. Even if it's a very narrow majority, that's the decision of the court, and that decision must be respected. And I'm saying that it will result in a degeneration of our society and a destruction of our democratic order for anybody at all to refuse to comply with orders of the Supreme Court. And I think that's non-negotiable. It's something that we must all respect. I have heard some statements by certain political actors to the effect that the case ought to be withdrawn and that there ought to be negotiation and all that. I'm quite surprised because indeed, firstly, I did not hear such expression of a willingness to negotiate and all, or maybe such instruction to the speaker or direct suggestion to the speaker for negotiation and all, when the speaker started embarking on this act. And I think that for me it's very important that the Supreme Court ruled upon this matter, because it is something that had been occurring in this country. The tendency for it to occur really was there. The tendency for it to occur again was there. It was necessary that the Supreme Court came to this clear conclusion and determination of the matter, the meaning of Article 97, Clause 1, paragraphs G and H. And I think we must all respect it.
What do you expect to happen in Parliament?
I think the Speaker of Parliament himself, to start with, indicated in his address to the press last week that the case raised very serious legal issues. Those were serious legal issues and matters bordering on governance in the country. In fact, so I must express my utter shock at this refusal to even file a process. If indeed the Speaker of Parliament himself recognized that the matter raised serious legal issues, as he said to the media last week, where else would you address legal issues but in the court of law? Where else would you have such a definitive pronouncement on the so-called serious legal issues that the Speaker himself recognized in his press statement, done by the Supreme Court of Ghana? So as for the Speaker of Parliament, indeed, is law-abiding. I've known him for a very long time to comply with the decision of the Supreme Court. As I said, it is non-negotiable in every civilized society. When an order of the court is given, no matter how highly placed or lowly placed the court is, even if it's a magistrate's court, you have to obey until it is set aside.
Having seen the conclusion of this matter, would you say as an Attorney General that there's a need for a constitutional review?
What does it relate to this? The American Constitution itself, very thin, as we all know. Yet, the Supreme Court, that Constitution has survived over 200 years. I think that, of course, there are certain provisions in the Constitution that I think that ought to be amended, and I've expressed my views on it to the media. Article 78, Clause 1, which enjoins the President to appoint majority of his ministers from Parliament, ought to be amended. There ought to be that flexibility. I think that certain institutions, for example, the Electoral Commission, NCC, and what have you, the appointment of their heads has to be with the prior approval of Parliament. But I don't think that it calls for a complete overhaul of the Constitution. And indeed, this Constitution is very strong. And it is one Constitution which even goes as far as prescribing consequences of a failure to carry out the Supreme Court order. The Supreme Court order, the consequences are set out clearly in Article 2, Clauses 3, 4, and 5 of the Constitution, that any person to whom an order of the Supreme Court is directed shall duly carry out same. And a failure to carry out such an order, of course, has the consequences of a criminal punishment. In the case of the president, will even result in the president and vice president will result in removal from office.
And finally, do you expect the Speaker of Parliament to rip up Parliament on his own volition after this ruling, given that the court has okayed in such a
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as I said, it's an emphatic determination by the court on the matter, and the Speaker of Parliament has no option but to comply. I mean, I think that we must stop giving with one hand and taking with the other. As I said, it really amounts to double standards and an exercise in contradiction for the Speaker of Parliament in his address to the media say that the case raises such serious legal issues and matters bordering on governance and all that, and then refuse to take back. So this country refuse to take part in the proceedings. I think in this country we must recognize some people for who they are and what they do. This hypocrisy and double standards must cease. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter on all matters in the country, including an interpretation of the Constitution. Indeed, it's the only court solely seeks jurisdiction to pronounce on the meaning of relevant provisions of the Constitution. And the Constitution means what the Supreme Court says it means, and nothing more. It is the same in America, and as I said, the America, United Kingdom, and all advanced democracies, that is the order that they respect. There's no way a Supreme Court would give a decision in America or United Kingdom, and then the Prime Minister, apart from expressing his disagreement with the decision of the President of America, of course he has the freedom of expression to express his disagreement with the decision, but he has no option but to comply, and they usually comply, and that is it.
Attorney General, many have said that this decision or this judgment was to be expected, and that the judiciary seemed to be in bed with the executive. Can you address that?
I mean that So first of all, some principles of law have been established well over decades. There's no principle of law argued in this matter which has not been established in this country. And indeed, if that's the case, then any case mounted which has in play those principles will be determined the same way. So I think that if there's indeed the rule of law, an element of it is predictability. It's not a case where a court of law will rule this way on account of the same principle of law, but rule another way on account of the same principle. So indeed, there must be some element of predictability. And I'm saying that in these principles that we contended with in this matter are old principles. There's nothing new. And for those who are saying the court is acting a certain way and all that, the same people were those who were rejoicing when the Court of Appeal gave a decision acquitting their leader. Their leader was acquitted by the Court of Appeal. They were happy with it. And to date, he's able to make all those arguments in Parliament because he has been acquitted. And I did not raise any issue with that back to appeal. I did not say I'm not going to respect the decision of the court. I respect the decision of the court. And until the decision is set aside by a higher court, which is the Supreme Court, that decision will remain binding on all. So we must stop this hypocrisy and exercises in contradiction. As I said, that when our reaction or attitude to court rulings depends on how palatable we deem it. We cannot react to decisions based on how palatable we deem it, and that's exactly what is happening. Thank you very much.
All right, so the Supreme Court of the land by 5-2 decision release speaker declaration say oyi ekofo 9 or declare mo sit ni vacant no unconstitutional, and after your markings kasa die number
your position today.
You accept that he's not.
No, I just want us to have clarity for the purposes of education. What is your position now? I want to know. What has the court said? That what? No, yes, we are educating ourselves. You know, I want that we are educating us. We are not fighting. We are educating ourselves. So I want to know from you.
He doesn't want to respond.
No.
Go on with
We need to get
it.
So what is it? I want to know. That what? That is so. I mean, I just wanted clarity on this matter. We can only thank God, and also it's a moment for all of us to rally around the choice we made in 1992. Democracy. Democracy requires decency, and that is the path the MPP majority caucus took to ensure that we do right to the law. Nothing more except to say that we expect our colleagues on the other side, including Mr. Speaker, to respect the outcome of this case so that we move on as a nation. All we have is the peace of the country. All we have is our democracy. And in West Africa and in Africa as a whole, Ghana shines in the eyes of the people in terms of democracy. So this is another feat we have achieved, and we must celebrate it. It's not a matter of MPP against NDC. It's a matter of constitutional, interpretation, and the court has given its verdict. We should all respect it and move on. Thank you very much. I think on the let the lawyers deal with the issues of law. I think that all we want is peace in the country, and we chose peace, and today we've achieved peace. That is all.
The Speaker has no choice. He has to abide by the ruling of the Supreme Court. He has no choice. He has no choice. Absolutely no choice.
What's the way forward?
The way forward is for him.
Please.
What to do.
The
Supreme Court is spoken.
The interesting thing about this matter is that as far back as 1968, after the first Republican Constitution, we decided as a nation, which can be seen by the proposals of the Constituent Assembly, that two things will happen. The first thing that we decided was that we will have the judiciary interpret the Constitution. In fact, they said two things. They wanted the judiciary to be the ultimate arbiter of what the constitution says, and they also wanted the judiciary to be able to give advisory opinions. The people of Ghana rejected the second suggestion and said that the judiciary should not give advisory opinions, but the judiciary is the body that should interpret the constitution. The second thing that is important in that entire the 1968 proposals was that they decided that Parliament would not be supreme. The supremacy of Parliament was not accepted. What they decided was that Parliament will be under the Constitution. And so all our constitutions since then have followed this position. In fact, the 1992 Constitution in Article 1 says that sovereignty lies in the people. That sovereignty was expressed when the people, through a referendum, voted to bring this constitution into force. And the constitution tells us that the supreme law of Ghana is the constitution. Everybody else is under the constitution. Nobody is above anybody. Everybody has his role. And so the fact that the Supreme Court interprets the constitution does not mean that they are above anybody. In fact, there are judges sitting on the bench. One of them is my classmate. My juniors are on the bench. But once they go and sit there, even if it's my own child sitting there, I cannot but bow and give the person respect, not for the person, but for the office and for the law. And we expect every other Ghanaian to also respect the law. We don't all agree on what is said and what is done. There are several times that I've disagreed with what is said and what is done. But because of the respect for the rule of law, because of the respect for the constitution, we just keep quiet and follow the law, hoping that if we don't agree, another opportunity will come that we'll be able to express ourselves. So what has happened today, we have not seen the reasons. We are happy because we came to court because we believed that the right thing was that the people had not by their action vacated their seats. So what has happened to them, we are happy about it. Tomorrow, the reasons will come out. And when the reasons come out, as lawyers, then we can look at the reasons and what the court has said, and then we can discuss it. In fact, the fact that the court has ruled in your favor does not mean that you agree with the reasons. You might decide that even the reasons some of the judges gave, you do not agree with it. Two of the judges talked about jurisdiction. We don't know what they said, so tomorrow we will know. And when we know, we will prepare to answer more questions in detail. But as was said by the leader, as far as I'm concerned, today democracy has won, constitutionalism has won.
And Babi has lost.
Nobody has lost. Democracy has won, constitutionalism has won, and nobody has lost. Every one of us is holding every position that we hold in trust for the people of Ghana. We don't hold it in our own capacity. When you are an MP, when you are a minister, when you are a president, when you are a speaker, when you are a chief justice, you hold it in trust for the people of Ghana, and you are under the law. Your time will come and you leave the position, and that is what we must all write. So the 4 MPs have been reinstated. They must come to Parliament, and as far as I'm concerned, if the status quo ante is brought back, then this whole dispute that people call him caucus leader, whatever, it should stop from today. We have a majority, which is MPP, and the majority leader is Honorable Alexander OnuaMaakye. It's as simple as leader. There's no, how can I, madam? We've come from court. You want me to give you a constitutional lecture? Okay, we'll take our group photograph. So what we'll do is that we'll talk about that. Please.
So you heard the lead counsel for Majority Leader OnuaMaakye speaking on the judgments.
All right, so just in near Airbus from the Supreme Court, HSA Abba Sumana Babin, our Speaker of Parliament, now could declare 4 seats vacant. Now, Supreme Court are overturning that particular ruling. Now, with these 4 seats, Miesa the NPP and 1 the NDC. The second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Andrew Esiama, call Parliament as an independent member of Parliament. And now, Yenya Kweku Asante, Suhu Member of Parliament, and of course, Cynthia Morrison. Omuina so more call as independent content crow. And now, Peter Kwachiaka also call as an independent parliamentary candidate. Speaker of Parliament, Abba Sumana Babin, Ejina Nitumiso Article 97.1, and then Nasifo anybody na Ediclo Musit no vacant. Sisia Supreme Court, Asama Eban say Supreme Court are overturning that particular declaration, making their seats not vacant. And so for that matter, OnuaMaakye and the NPP continues to be the majority in parliament. This is what is happening. Menoka say there's jubilation all over parliament, and of course, we share the way almost jubilate to Onuma. They are answering questions. So it tells you that this is what is happening. Supreme Court by 5-2 ruling. Panel na no mote judges mote asem so mu di no mo ye mako and so no emu 5 ekire se there be asem abasuma na babin e ka ye declare the seat vacant no enye ne kwanso no mienu so e de omo de e de aba, but as it stands now 5-2 the majority, and that for that matter the issue has been overturned. The declaration by Abasumana Babi, the Speaker of Parliament, has been overturned. Now, OnuaMaakye and the MPP, the majority, and those seats are declared vacant. They can still go back to their seats and sit there as members of Parliament, representing their various constituencies. Innocent.
I think that was expected.
That was expected?
Oh, really?
How?
That was expected because in recent times the Supreme Court has become so predictable.
Wow.
Betting we neck the only thing they are changing is you see now I'm for from unanimous FC.
Yeah.
And now you see they just try to balance it just to make it look like. But you see, ordinary ruling from the highest pinnacle of judicial power bar, and people respect it.
Yeah.
But there is one thing that is missing. That respect is not there. Because I'm telling you, sitting at the bench and dispensing justice is just a smaller part of it. Getting people to believe and trust in the justice delivery system, that is the whole package. You understand? So working one part and not working one part. That is why I'm very much concerned about the many concerns being raised by Ghanaians. Mo Ibrahim.
Yeah.
See, Afro barometer. Search about this whole judiciary because it is not about the final delivery. It is about the processes and the circumstances. Recently, we went to court. Don't forget, say Speaker of Parliament and defending so he didn't go there with a representation. So I have OnuaMaakye so that is by the way. Chief Justice and panel team there was one person failed parliamentary candidate of the New Patriotic Party, the MPP. It was raised at the Supreme Court. This is the highest judicial power. That's Obia our partisan ties in the past. Our MP, our fairly, our whole central. Not such a critical case. Common sense will tell you it will not augur well with you and the people. Because do you know why? Chief Justice by and say, this is a constitutional matter. Constitutional matter brought forth by political actors. And young cocoa didn't send no call to a nipa from political party and the call. So the political interest, so you can discount it on the basis a constitutional matter and obia our known partisan ties among for him say nipa way or MPP ni or parliamentary way of and a President Akufo-Addo abeg the judge and on such a sensitive matter wakotam na beto. So I am not saying what the Supreme Court the ababon correct and as because I'm no to me we have no right, we have no power, but you will to match what I say era we are no yemfa me ye judge na me ye we hunu nipa what I say na make actually da bia na meka Pontius Pilate no parents no mo sha dade che na kwa na man for come adwene kire no na nti se ye friend say era we ya we you will sit there obama with judgment, we will sit here, we will express because that is democracy. Dade che omokra no also okoku Yesu no yese or your friends Barnabas onja Barnabas no ku Yesu anya public na no more shout to him. So you don't sit there and think dispensing justice and it ends there, everybody should shut up. No, among for better because there are certain basic elements border on common sense, reasoning, and logic. I heard the Supreme Court ruling in recent times every and then a man for a lose trust and confidence. And to what as a judge, as a chief justice, you should know that you are just passing because all that you do is to redeem the image of the judiciary because we are going to an election. There will be a number of cases coming up. And if you have people not trusting the judiciary, you should be worried because at the end of the day, as some as I know you court and you're settle. At the end of the day, what happens? We are moving into an era of chaos. What I say, and it's the reason why it is incumbent on the judiciary and the chief justice today. I am sending her a text message say, on repair. their friends said the image of the judiciary. Because the image of the Ghana's judiciary is in the tatters, is in the gutters. OnuaMaakye no, and she has to do everything to repair. And yes, as a Ghana for lose trust, confidence, our judiciary, we are done. Because Babi Akwakodu no ruling about right, whether right or wrong, I don't care. But I'm very much concerned about public trust in the institution, because democracy revolve around. The last time I catch you say, so we are democracy to her. If you sit somewhere and you think the soldier for the bomb by police, I will bottom and the police, it is we the people. The trust and the confidence we repose in state institutions, democratic institutions, and among democracy in the Just imagine say everybody in Accra, that's around a pass and you see a by demonstration. Do you think the president can sit here? We saw what happened in Sri Lanka when the citizens rose to the Jubilee House. The president ran away. You understand? So power, the sovereignty of Ghana, residing on we the people. It doesn't matter who you are. Chief Justice or Supreme Court, you are just a smaller part of it, playing a role. Very soon you fade. You understand? Another person will come. But we need to protect this country. So don't sit there and allow yourself to be used as a stooge in the hands of power. Say, obi directed, then you go. Use your conscience. I don't care whether people belong to NDC or MPP. But you see, never lose your conviction. Never lose your offense, your conscience. But we've gotten to a point that we've lost everything. No value, no principle, no morality. Then I say for them. And then Supreme Court will remain a conversation as McCatcher said, whatever be the outcome, inconsequential to resolving this matter, because the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of MPP. Do you think the NDC MPs will go and sit there for parliament business to happen?
It's something else.
No, that is up to them. They can also decide to boycott. Into a boycott, the speaker cannot make decision our house, so because also you don't have the number. So I know that what happens is the reason why I make said in modern governance and there are methods that they resolve some of these issues, mediation, reconciliation, whole lot of stuff. Because we are all learned individuals, are very rational. We settle, we argue among ourselves. How do we resolve this particular issue? At the end of the day, consistently we are forcing them to lose trust in our institutions, and I think that is very dangerous. Obama Bahano catcher and say Africa should build strong institution. He was not talking about Kwaku Abenao, and I said Obi Betina institution in my barrio. He was talking about allowing rule of law principle in the way Sabaya Nipa Benya trust because remember that's why I need trust to police. I do think Minya case report to police. We need to have trust in all these institutions, because that is what makes democracy today. And look at the kind of state a woman the media, the police, everything. Democracy, the only fortunate thing I hear is Ghana for are very discerning enough. Say we don't want to break our fourth republic because circumstances are revolving around Africa. How some countries are breaking their democracy. The Ghana term, but because we are civilized, we are very tolerant people. We hope that election is in the offing. Let us hope that things will get better. So Supreme Court, there's somebody ruling about it, but we are telling them that our integrity out there, it's in the gutters. And it is incumbent upon them to do everything to repair. They should go and look at the Mo Ibrahim report. They should go and look at your first Afro Barometer report. You should be very much concerned. What the program was now? Man for any rating be a man for board downward. Shouldn't you be concerned about it? When you know, say whatever you do, revolve around public trust and confidence. You can sit there and say you don't care, but institution now will to get them, and I think that is very sad.
All right, that's about now.
I agree with everything Ivan says. Everything he says is true. We, the people, have no trust in any institution in this country.
You don't even trust the Supreme Court?
We don't trust anything. You think you are telling us something, but we on the street, and me, I work in the ghettos, we down there, we have no respect for anything you say or do, because we know everything is biased. We did not expect any different outcome than what we got. We didn't expect anything else.
Oh, really?
We did not. Nobody did. Except for maybe the MPP people. But me and the people that I know, that I talk to, Fix the Country, Democracy, we all expected this to happen. Interesting. I see. Was there ever, did it even ever look like it was going to be different? It didn't at any point. And what
but this is a clear test case for us, and I'm also imagining what is going to happen to the previous ruling by the 7th Speaker of Parliament, Professor OnuaMaakye, after declaring the same former member of Parliament seats vacant when he stood in as the independent parliamentary candidate when he defected from the NPP. And I'm just imagining, he declared his seat vacant, and now the same parliament declaring another seat vacant has been overturned by the Supreme Court. Very interesting.
You see, that is why how can we respect them? I mean, contradicting yourself constantly.
Yes.
And when young people like this talk, the way they talk, you can see that these boys are not stupid. These boys are educated. Look at the things he's quoting. Look at this document. Look at that document. These boys are reading. These boys are fighting for democracy, real democracy. Not what these people are telling us. This is democracy. How is this democracy?
JB, you see, one dangerous precedent this thing has set. And they say, do you know what is going to happen in the next parliament? The very moment you go to the next, which is the 9th parliament, you go on the ticket of the NDC. You can just say, me defeated. Because the whole essence of that Article 97G, the whole essence of it, because of Kwame Nkrumah era. When people won election, because Nkrumah government was powerful, now they were poaching MPs from other parties. So this particular constitutional provision was there just to secure that chaos is protected. So now you can defect in the House. Yakasa court for by-election, you can decide not to go because this Supreme Court ruling is going to protect you. So I know the decency.
But it's only the Supreme Court that can set or that can rule on a case today, come back tomorrow and make a different ruling on.
It's from that one day I know. Nobody's contesting that. But me see say the kind of chaos the realm into. You understand? And I'm telling you, say, don't sit on the bench and tell people say you are the only learned people out there. You understand that people are reading, people understand some of these things, and the citizens are very critical, and you may be living in a certain utopian world and think you are a super god or whatever, but whatever you do comes down to the people. Getting people to believe, trust and have hope in it, that is the justice delivery. You understand? So I think I don't want to go much into the ruling, the constitutionality, because as we speak, even the ruling itself is not about.
Well, I just saw a message that Sanema we need diversionary taxes to sway Ghanaians' attention from what is happening, the reality on the grounds, the hardship, the galamsey, and whatever. And the Supreme Court, parliamentary room, just to create that diversionary taxes for people to stop talking about all these issues.
It's true.
It is true.
It's true.
People have said it. People have said it.
Really?
It's not like people haven't said it. People have said that this is a mass distraction. It's just to distract people from the seriousness. Look, it happened in America. They went to war. Meanwhile, they had problems in their own home. Instead of dealing with their problems, they went to war in somebody else's country.
Interesting.
It happens all the time.
Yes, Debbie. You see, sir, for the first time in the election history of this country, this is the first time walking into a major election, sir. The conversation, and the economy. The conversation is something different. Recently, we were talking about galamsey, and then we are talking about Supreme Court. But leading up to an election, we should be having heated economic debate, a border on the life of the people. But today, I'm asking you, which economy are we to speak of? Do we even have an economy? Look at the dollar today. Ghana, for the first time in the history of this country, declared bankrupt. For the first time, you see, when say amount for the music about buying besia, only a wood na won't say treasure bill bonds and as a for them. Omo music acquire that investment, as we speak today. A buying our structure, they are not getting their money.
Yes.
Do you know that when it comes to investment, the most secured are OBIS show a bond and your stock, because stock you can wake up today and then you have fluctuations, you lose all your money. But when it comes to bond, is the most secured investment anywhere in the world, apart from Ghana.
I see.
What is that Makia Blankson, that Ghanaian American comedian? Social media because Nisika is on the line.
We see school Aguna Sabai area mu
yes. And then galamsey yenam so amam for kwada prison me madam for never had me was arrested.
Sure.
Why? Because these people yenye sika mfa abonten and galamsey no mutu. So all these are critical issues are in the end never affected the elections, and you think there is anything that is more important than this parliament already? Parliament no the parliament no apart from partisan football. Me, I don't care what is going on, because one institution any respect in the eyes of the people Okroma a parliament apart from partisan football, and this 8th parliament way is the weakest link in our democracy. Because per the numbers, we thought say it to be useful, but it has turned out to be the most unuseful parliament under this particular form of republic. You understand? So people don't care. We are very much concerned about bread and butter, the economic issues. Right. Look at the dollar today. Look at now news we aboso kind for air kasa. They are telling you that they can't even import. The president is not concerned. He's out there putting his statue in the hospital when he has done nothing.
Right.
That is a joke.
That's right.
You see, the president is acting like certain comic figure be as a Ghana for breno. Then he's out there mocking Ghanaians. Go hospital now the statue kusi anymore no. And then why no statue no say we are bapping for when you come boss one way by force. We need to get serious in this country. You understand? John Mahama now see Legon Hospital and find statue when see home. John Mahama now see your friends at Maritime Hospital no. Or no crana was state modern state of the art facility no. Or no crana find statue when see hospital by no wasi. Sikana woje and would go to a manaso kusi cathedral. You arrested people. Why didn't I want for statue no kusi be a cathedral no? These are shameless bunch of people who have been given power and they think they can just do anything and get away. Does it make sense for us to wake up today and tell us President Akufo-Addo kusi the statue was hospital? Investment by why in the health sector. You should tell us. Sikana woji and I would go to a mana a cathedral na kahono. I didn't want for statue no kusi cathedral, and he has the audacity to go there say or kwako eden. Yes, on the kwada exactly. That tells you the unseriousness I end up pinning this whole political enterprise. It's the reason why I'm sending message to young people out there say we need to get serious. This emotional partisan activism politics, it's getting us nowhere. Because these people think we are fools and they see us as tools they can use to achieve their political ends. Means we are no longer. People must be enlightened. Now you're getting away from emotions. We should be very rational. Now you're making sure that we are deciding what has to be done for us, not obi to abaman to decide. Because you can't say for the past 30 years, you can't look at Sorokuma. We say me a professor, me a doctor, me say why not the impact? I impacted on this economy to free the people. Why we are all useless? You understand? Because until say every single one of us become even, Charlie, we are getting nowhere. You understand? We need to get serious in this country.
All right.
Now you're making sure that we preach the good message.
Mameka breaking this video, I mean, like you said, a comic country. Now, so Electoral Commission detected a number of errors on the forms of Roman father. Okay, I don't call replacements. I don't know
what else did you expect?
Now, so there were illegalities on the form, according to EC. Subsequent to that, Roman father has been disqualified to contest as the 2024 presidential elections. EC decides to maintain ballot for 2024 elections. Now, EC will continue printing the ballot papers without.
They thought that they could change the positions.
Yes.
You see, Mr. Baby, a Ghana drew some of these comic relief, there are a lot of comic enthusiasts. The leadership say you must be very empathetic.
Yeah.
Identify yourself with the people. The pains, the suffering people are going through. You can be having your millions, but whenever you stand on the leadership podium, you identify yourself with the people. It's the reason why I see these guys as jokers when they come and say, then you have no business coming to leadership. Because as a leadership, Uber leadership now, you must have something at stake so that when it goes wrong, everybody loses. But Uber, no, you have nothing to lose because if it goes wrong, you have nothing to lose. So why should people give you power? You understand? We need to be very critically minded and listen to a man for a year. What I said, I'm not making. Baby, I don't know. Ghana is standing at the crossroad. Now me come about the economic turbulence in this situation. Are you woman there?
As I yeah before, and I also said we are at the crossroad.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
there is no time to.
It's either we go forward or we go backward.
Yes,
we go to the left or you go to the right,
and
that is the crossroad we have.
You young people are not going to let them take you where they want to take you.
Not at all.
You won't do it. We our time is gone. But you people, we are counting on you. And even your children and your grandchildren are also counting on you today.
Yes.
Don't ever forget that.
Yes, because there is no backup anywhere.
No,
we are the backup.
Yes,
when we fail, everybody fails.
Yes,
we are the backup. When we fail, everybody fails. So it is not about me. It is not about you. It is about the collective people.
Yes,
the collective
the
mind.
unity.
Getting people. Because I can buy everything. That is not life.
No.
We see a bontina or next door neighbor. Only obedi. Now you think say I can buy V8 as well. Oh, we nipa desenia. One cast something should click. You understand? So you must make a concerted effort. America and as a for no they build the economy in such a way. So we are why can't we do the same thing? Our people are so greedy. Say one person want to have it all. Look, we are creating poverty, and I know that they're impoverishing people so that we can always control them. That is the reason why I told you that in Africa, poverty is a deliberate political tool that is being used to control the people, manipulate them. Here we need the obedi. Oma 5C the obedi na chakoto abama.
Yeah, sure.
Oma t-shirt abakwa kwaye we. Now what the obedi obi echi akwa.
And it's not surprising. One of the parliamentary candidates, I wore Ladadi Kotopo, this area, right?
Yeah.
Chardonnay, cantonment near there. One of the parliamentary candidates, Enenam, and all 500 Ghana cedis each. On top of it, we're promising and conform 2,000 Ghana cedis each. Someone Kotwaba and Famano. This is where we have reduced politics to.
Oh, no.
One of the parliamentary candidates, and I'm going remember the G. Or also a driver. Or a driver, or a parliamentary candidate. Any idea befa. Tinchini a chain. Wakome binumubio. Yes, me say wakome binumubi. Ebe di pakono command me ne yetifi ha. Onim da. And was I promising the 2,000 Ghana cedis. Now the person is becoming convinced to say, okay, so the 2,000 by the metro skirt and blouse. It's in here, Jack Quine. Na yama near undeserved so question Rashid Job Shamrano. No, question Rashid Job Shambra because when Jessica and on their talk and Kofa drain.
Sir, Makano will show you to say wherever in the world that will sustain bad governance, nobody in that country is a victim or innocent. We are accomplices and sponsors.
That's right.
Yeah. We are accomplices and sponsors. Because you see, you think so and no. So Okoji Obisika to Abamana in the first place. Who advertises a winning answer? Because I would you Obisika now to Abamana. When everything goes wrong, you have no right to complain.
Yes.
It's like going to the shop to buy iPhone.
Yes.
Yaka we are the upper way. Buy for you because Yaka, what I say, that is how this thing looks like. So at the end of the day, no. That is why I'm saying take it time to educate people because you see old media not poisoning your mouth for to the extent I'm growing up. Me politics are minimal and NDC MPP need we can't middle minor.
I can't tell you that he would never vote for Trump.
So that is
because the other issue. And look, who born dog in our
yes.
But I mean,
that generation is coming. Trust me, that generation is coming, and very soon you see some.
The generation is here. They are not coming. Ivan, you are here. You know, when I was going out to demonstrate on the big demonstration, the number of people in my household that said, I will not let you go. You are not going. And I said to them, you cannot get lost. You will get up in the morning and I will be long gone. I'm not waiting for you to tell me to go. And the reason I'm going is my children are out there and I have to be with my children. I have to support my children. You people are here.
Yeah.
You people are, look, sometimes when you people talk, the way you are educated at this age and me at this age, you people are better educated than us. All of us, our children are better educated than us. You people, you critique things, you think things through. And I've said it on this show before, and I say it again. The young people are coming for you.
Sure.
They are going to get you.
Okay, so may Jessica nama to ababo bino and your conscience now what and what where you have no reason to complain when things go wrong. What has happened American say? So it is not about emotion, it is not about relationship for Nipa no mudi asuru say ye nim nyansa. And it's the reason why they can use our money to do shitty stuff.
Yes.
At this point, the president is building, you've heard saying, FEG, State USC Hospital. Now, hospital, when they see hospital.
That is the started near Sansui.
Yes. And that is the biggest saying by a president.
And
because he's not supposed to do that.
And also, there's another question. Who does the gold in the ground belong to? The ground of Ghana. Who does it belong to? It
belongs to the good people of Ghana in trust of the president.
Thank you. And what is it being used for? Has it been used to do anything nice, good, beautiful, meaningful for this country? It's all going out. It's all going into the big men's pockets.
In 2018, Professor Frimpong's Boateng's report on galamsey, illegal mining, said that 36 billion US dollars worth of gold is being transported or is being smuggled from our country to the outside world every year.
Yes.
And yet we go out there to beg for 3 billion US dollars.
That's right.
When you lose 36 billion US dollars to illegal mining.
And we the people, we own the gold. It doesn't belong to the illegal miners. It doesn't belong to the legal miners. It belongs to the people of this republic.
Yes, you wake up in the morning on TV, you saw tons of professors telling you said you're at a certain level. When that intellect is supposed to be added up so that at least we can make use of some of this and tell the corrupt people, said no, we need to build and make this country a better place. Because if American dream is possible, people chase. They look at the number of people who walk on foot to get to America. Why? The certificate because by they know that once they enter the country, they are done. You understand?
And we have the gold, and we can build the Ghanaian dream.
It's possible.
But we don't do it, do we?
We sit here and celebrate greedy people, twisted minds who have cheaply gotten political power, and they think that they are a lot. They don't care about the people. You understand? And not quite him feel quite there. Never go ahead and say as for a Toma. It me a here for better 1,000 glittery. But on don't quite their ban home and on them. They don't care about the people anymore.
They never. You know, it's so painful. You will go to bed at night and you will ask yourself, that little child out there that is drinking that water, till today nothing has been done about it. There are court cases against galamseyers. People are being rather arrested. Farmers were arrested at some time. I think it's Atrosu, or so you call it.
Yes.
Farmers were arrested. They are going to be taken to court. Why? Why?
All right.
We can't talk.
Debbie, may I address this issue before I
finally on this.
Very often, when people are very vocal, expressing concern, the only thing you get is young people are very disrespectful.
No. I mean,
we are not disrespectful.
How? Why would you be disrespectful when you want to speak your mind?
Young people in this country are not disrespectful. People have come to the realization that the very people who've entrusted this country into their hands the last 8 years, think we are fools. But we are telling them that we are even wiser than they can ever be. You understand? So when people are expressing their opinion as if way is just the beginning, because there are thousands out there who will be joining. And there are thousands more coming. They'll be asking the critical questions. Because first, politics was like a cult being done in a certain room. Certain few people in fancy coat. Things is their baby. But today, you are here. I don't know your background. Me, where I'm coming from, I don't have any big background. But today we are here critiquing the issue for people to understand. And there are a lot more people who will join. So if you think you are dealing with fools, be careful because they are all coming.
All right. On that note, Supreme Court on 5-2, I declare, sir, the Speaker Abasumana Babin ruling on declaring the 4 seats vacant our Parliament, unconstitutional. You try to